API Gateway has a 30-second timeout, and you can't increase it, but Lambda has a 15-minute timeout. That doesn't even make any sense. So how do we get around it? Today, I'm gonna show you how using the AWS CDK. Hi, if you're new around here, my name is Ryan. I'm an AWS certified solutions architect and developer, and my goal is to teach you modern serverless system design using AWS. This video is going to build on what we've already built, so I'll link those here for you to check out. Let's get into it. All right, so picking up from where we left off in the last video, we deployed an API gateway and we added an endpoint called say hello to be handled by our Lambda function. But now we're going to talk about one of the limitations of API gateway. Lambda has a maximum timeout of 15 minutes, while API gateway has a maximum timeout of 30 seconds, which means if you have a long running Lambda function, this timeout on API gateway cannot be changed and cannot be extended. So if let's say you have a front end where you want to upload a very large file that takes a minute to upload, but you need to get a response back from that API saying when the file upload is completed, unfortunately, as soon as it hits that 30-second mark, your API gateway is going to time out, despite the fact that the Lambda will actually continue executing in the background. This creates a problem because then when the file has finished uploading, the API gateway has already timed out, so we have no way to send back a response to your front end. How do we get around this? Well, we can do something where we actually create a dedicated function URL that sits outside of the API gateway. This function URL does not have the same constraints of that 30-second timeout that API gateway does. So let's build that now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import function URL auth type from Lambda. And then down here, we're going to reference our function of Node.js function dot add function URL. Add function URL is going to take in an object. That object, we're just going to reference auth type, and we're going to do function URL auth type dot none. Now, obviously you would never do this in a production setting, but for the sake of simplicity on this tutorial, I'm just going to do it with none. All right, so this is going to add a custom function URL. Now we can go ahead and deploy this, and we'll wait for this for a couple minutes to deploy. All right, perfect. So that finishes deploying. So now we can actually go into the Lambda console and we can take a look at our new function URL. If you go here into configuration on your function, you can see the function URL, and we now have a new custom URL that's just for this function. And you can see that it is a different endpoint than our API gateway. This function URL can now be called, and it will not time out after 30 seconds. So you can wait for as long as you need to get a response back from your Lambda function. So just to be clean with it, we can go ahead and destroy this, and we'll wait for a couple minutes while that destroys. All right, perfect. That destroyed. Let's go confirm that in the console. We can go here to our stacks. We can refresh, and we can see that we no longer have this stack. We can go here to our functions, and we no longer have the function. And that pretty much wraps up the video here. If you guys enjoyed that, please like the video, and then please let me know down in the comments if there's any other videos that you want me to make. Thanks for watching.